I'm Tony Peralta, and I am here with Inicio.
Hey, oh, yeah, yeah, yeah.
Born and raised in Washington Heights, and I still live uptown. I live in Inwood right now, or as the people call it, Dykeman. You know, drawing was second nature. I've been doing it since I was a kid. I used to daydream of like being an artist. When I was younger, I used to love drawing comic books. So I've always been a visual person. Also, a big contribution to my love for art growing up was graffiti, right? Just seeing graffiti when you walk down the street and being into the characters, which I was mostly into just the characters. And when I was, as a teenager, one of my favorite artists was Keith Haring. So when I entered college, I remember a friend of mine had told me about this media arts department there because she saw me drawing on the book in my notebook, and when she saw my drawings, she said, "Oh, have you heard of the media arts department?" And I remember when I went to check out the department, I literally like the next day changed my major. So it was everything that I was into, watching like television production, film, photography, and computer graphics. So how I got into this thing, everything it's kind of been like divine intervention in a way. I landed a job at some point a year later working for a PR marketing company where I was like the graphic designer for the company. So, and dealt with the urban market. And then I was just so excited because I love fashion, right? You know, being into hip hop, you're kind of into all those things. That was an important job just because it opened up a whole different lane for me. I didn't go to fashion school, don't understand the idea of construction and all of that. And that's where I learned all of that kind of like hands-on because I was really good at the computer and stuff like that. So, You know, I taught myself how to screen print, right? I looked it up on YouTube and stuff like that. And screen printing is such a great medium just because, especially as a graphic designer, it's like I could come up with my own ideas and also be able to like produce the items myself. At first, the artwork that I was creating was very conscious. Just, you know, again, being somebody who grew up in hip hop and the kind of music that I listened to, I was kind of creating work that kind of spoke on that as far as like police brutality and racism and all of that. The work started to get a little heavy for me, just kind of like having it around. And I was like, I need to kind of like switch my subject matter. Going to exhibits and going to shows and stuff like that, I never saw anything that represented me. So that kind of gave me like the idea to create work that that represented me and my culture. Where I was reading this biography about Jean-Michel Basquiat. And there was a moment in the book where it was talking about his collaborations with Warhol. And that's when it hit me, was like the Campbell's soup can. And I was like, damn, I wonder if anybody ever took like the Campbell's soup can idea, but made it like a Goya. You know, so one of the first pieces that I did in regards to that was the Goya can, but black beans. And even that was very intentional. I chose black beans because it had the word black in it, you know. So that was kind of like my little, you know, conscious part of me. When I started to learn how to screen print and all of that is when I started the Peralta Project. So it was like, I started, you know, I've always loved t-shirts and, you know, big fan of like streetwear. So I was like, I have ideas as well. And that's when I started the Peralta Project, which was really just a hobby. The piece that put me on the map, which is the 20th anniversary of it right now as we speak, is called Gaza Strip. 20 years ago, or literally around this time, I was invited to do this exhibit, to be part of a group show. And I had 3 pieces, and one of them was the Gaza Strip piece. And people just loved that piece so much. It was striking to them. And they was like, oh my God, you should make that to a t-shirt, you should make it into a t-shirt. So that piece means the world to me, just because that's what started everything for me. My words of encouragement would be just like, try your best to kind of be original. You know, really kind of like dig deep and come up with an original point of view. accept that you're worthy of these things. Look, I have a piece that's in the museum. That's part of the Smithsonian. Design a bottle for Barceló. Like, I had my own sneaker with Adidas, right? I worked with Nike, and it was co-branded. And on top of that, these people came to me. I really am very appreciative of people that have been supporting my work for a very long time.